In the delightful realm of a pet variety show, I, endowed with an uncanny ability to decipher the thoughts of dogs, was merrily indulging in the latest gossip. I listened intently as the canine companions of renowned performers exchanged their tales. Suddenly, a cry pierced through the air. "Master, save me. I can barely hold on." It was then that I discovered my little mischievous cat was pouncing and clawing at the illustrious actor Fu Siyu's border collie, causing quite the ruckus. Embarrassed, I hurriedly extended my apologies to Fu Siyu. "Not to worry," he replied nonchalantly. "Luca enjoys playing with cats too." At that very moment, I overheard Luca's thoughts. "Master, if you aspire to be her dog, you must also keep an eye on me. A dog's life is no trivial matter." I was left utterly perplexed. 01. The pet variety show titled Pampering You for a Lifetime erupted into popularity the moment it premiered, trending fervently on social media. Cats color critique. Cats resembling their owners. Seeking legal aid for pets. Silver-shaded cats prices plummet. The commotion began with my little rascal, who displayed an extraordinary interest in dogs during the show, harboring ulterior motives towards the guests' canines. Despite its tender age, the discerning feline set its sights on the border collie of the acclaimed actor Fu Siyu, relentlessly pursuing it. No matter how loudly I called, I could not retrieve it. My attempts to catch it were futile. I could only watch as it raised its fluffy little face, meowing and caterwauling around Fu Siyu's legs. The imposing border collie, intimidated, cowered behind its owner, trembling in fear. My bold little feline paid no heed to my plight, leaving me to dig my toes into the ground in frustration. I nearly wished to sever our mother-daughter bond on the spot. "Milk tea, you come back," I said through gritted teeth, forcing a smile. I even endured the pain of extracting the most expensive cat treats in an attempt to lure it back with culinary delights. It didn't even spare me a glance. "Oh dear, have you not realized your mother's standing after 8 months of companionship? While I too have an affinity for Fu Siyu's dog, can you truly aspire to such an illustrious household? Get a grip, will you?" 02. Meanwhile, the barrage of comments surged forth with fervor, and without exception, they were all directed at me with scorn. Why did the production team invite Sharon? Are they intent on feeding the audience excrement? I can't believe it. The owner of the milk tea is actually Sharon. How could my dream cat have such a mother? Can't they just leave the cat with its owner? I'm utterly exasperated by this leech. Sharon. Why don't I simply go and take the cat away? Is it that I don't want to? No, it's that I'm afraid. The national idol, Fu Siyu, stood there with a handsome, cold expression, leaning against the border collie, indifferent as he gazed at me. I could only remain rooted in place, offering a polite, awkward smile. After all, as a minor celebrity, I had already garnered thousands of insults on the very day the guest list was announced. If I were to approach Fu Siyu any closer, his fans would surely explode the live stream. Having been in the shadows for over half a year, this was the only opportunity one had managed to secure. Even if it meant enduring insults, I was determined to sit through from the first episode to the last, fully collecting my appearance fee. 03. At the beginning of this year, I inadvertently offended the little princess of the entertainment industry, Su Jiao Jiao, with a single remark. We were recording a charity program aimed at rescuing small animals together. When Su Jiao Jiao attempted to feed a chocolate to a puppy to showcase her compassion, I intervened. Her ignorant act of giving chocolate to the dog quickly made headlines. In a bid to salvage her reputation, she desperately sought to prove her closeness to animals by forcing an injured dog to perform. Unable to bear the sight, I took the puppy away before she could go on stage. "It's injured. You should use another one," I implored her earnestly. In return, I was met with her impatient insults. "Are you a veterinarian? Do you have a license? This one has a beautiful coat and looks good on camera, so step aside." Consequently, this incident backstage was leaked, but it was edited to portray me as someone who coveted the puppy and coerced Su Jiao Jiao into a switch. There were even those who investigated, discovering that I had neither a veterinary license, nor had I ever owned a dog, nor followed any dog-related accounts, concluding that I must have spoken out of turn for the sake of the dog. A deluge of online trolls and marketing accounts descended upon me, and my small agency crumbled under the pressure, leading to my immediate suspension as they pleaded for the little princess to spare me and not ruin the livelihoods of others. Indeed, I was neither a veterinarian nor had I ever owned a dog. I simply had the ability to read minds, specifically the hearts of dogs. 04. In the ensuing 6 months, I received no significant offers, and even the occasional odd jobs and social engagements were scarce. My best friend, seeing me on the verge of starvation, graciously bestowed upon me a job to help her feed her cat. She was often away traveling for work, and her precious cat could not be trusted in a pet shop, so she implored me to care for it at her home. Eventually, the cat gave birth to kittens, and I was fortunate enough to receive one, which I named Milk Tea. During this low point in my life, the companionship of Milk Tea brought a vibrant freshness. I began documenting its growth online, creating adorable stickers and GIFs. Within a few months, Milk Tea's account amassed millions of followers, far surpassing my verified artist account by several hundred times. It was at this moment that the production team reached out to me. Holding Milk Tea, I wept profusely. "Sweetheart, you are my little treasure, my fortune. Once I earn some money, we'll feast luxuriously." If only I could read the mind of my cat, I would never have allowed it to approach Fu Siyu's dog. It turned out to be a promiscuous little creature across species. Upon seeing the handsome dog, it disregarded its dignity, bounding over to lick and meow at it. I stared at the tufts of cat fur on Fu Siyu's expensive trousers, my vision darkening. 05. I apologize, I will take the cat away immediately. In the end, under the pressure of tens of thousands of viewers in the live stream, I walked towards Fu Siyu. The man chuckled softly. "It's all right." His tone was gentle, like a refreshing morning breeze. Just as I prepared to leave, the border collie suddenly emerged from behind Fu Siyu. Its gaze, sharp as a blade, softened upon seeing me. It lowered its noble head, affectionately rubbing against me. I was taken aback by its unexpected cuteness and instinctively reached out to pet its head. Suddenly, I heard a voice. "Fugo, your goddess has arrived. Why are you still dazed?" I was stunned and withdrew my hand. I, a purebred, have gone so far as to make a fool of myself just to create an opportunity for you. Don't squander it. I glanced at Fu Siyu, who still bore that slightly aloof, iceberg beauty. Could it be that my mind-reading ability had encountered a glitch? Or was the border collie going crazy because of the flirtatious cat? Not daring to ponder further, I scooped up Milk Tea and fled in haste. 06. My mind-reading ability, no. My dog-reading ability had never been wrong. Yet, the words spoken by the border collie were beyond human comprehension. Me? Fu Siyu's goddess? He has a crush on me? The likelihood of that happening is even slimmer than the chance of the little princess holding a grand apology conference for me. To verify whether my mind-reading ability had faltered, I specifically approached the dogs of other guests for testing. The rising star of the entertainment industry, Jiang Zhuxin, brought along a Labrador, competing fiercely for attention with a new darling, Yan Shui's Pomeranian. When the two dogs met, a conflict was inevitable. Although they appeared affectionate, they exchanged insult-laden remarks. "Pomeranian, my sister is young and beautiful, with wealth backing her. Your old, faded companion will be undergoing facial enhancements on discount next month. So, remember to remind her to recharge." Labrador, "Oh, where did this mutt come from barking nonsense? Who's sneaking into the neighborhood at night? Stirring up the entire community? My brothers are everywhere. Keep your tail tucked in and behave like a dog." I was thoroughly entertained by the spectacle. Lowering my gaze, I realized where had Milk Tea run off to. 07. I bent down, searching everywhere for the cat. "Meow? Milk Tea, sweetheart? Princess Milk Tea?" I waved its favorite treats, chasing it all the way to the makeup room. There, I spotted a silver dog tag lying on the floor. Picking it up, I saw it was engraved with SR, whose dog tag has been lost. My gaze fell upon a pair of sleek leather shoes. Following the straight pant legs, I gradually stood up. Fu Siyu stood before me, holding his dog. "Do you need assistance?" His voice, deep and resonant, was even more captivating in the confined space. My ears flushed, and upon raising my eyes, I found my flirtatious cat sprawled on the border collie. Its drool was almost soaking the dog's fur. I quickly snatched up Milk Tea, repeatedly apologizing. "I'm so sorry. It just finished its heat cycle, and I haven't had the chance to spay it yet." A chuckle came from above. "Are you free this weekend?" "Huh. My friend runs a pet hospital and is very experienced with this." I thought my flirtatious cat. "I just happen to need to give Luca a bath. Shall we go together this weekend?" Luca, "Dad, I just had a bath last week." 08. Milk Tea nearly fainted from excitement. I scooped up the cat, hastily expressing my gratitude. After the first episode wrapped up, the cats and dogs returned to their respective homes, and I prepared to leave with my cat carrier. Could I have her contact information? Fu Siyu inquired from behind. I thought he was merely being courteous, but to my surprise, he was serious. Noticing my hesitation, Fu Siyu showcased photos of the pet hospital on his phone. "Although it's my friend S, the qualifications and equipment are quite reliable." "It's not that I don't trust your friend," I replied, glancing at Milk Tea, who seemed on the verge of depression. But I appreciate the offer. In the days that followed, I exerted every effort to cheer up Milk Tea, but it ignored me aside from its basic needs. Due to the contract, my account had to be updated daily during the broadcast, and soon, my stock of content was depleted. The new cat photos featured Milk Tea with a deeply sorrowful expression. At first, the fans found it novel and cute. But it wasn't too long before some began to question whether I was mistreating Milk Tea, accusing me of exploiting my child for profit after experiencing success on the show. My long-unheard agent, Sister Lee, even called to check on me. I heard Fu Siyu added you on WeChat at the venue. I briefly explained the situation. Even if he added me, it's nothing. His moments are filled with dogs. All dogs? The person opposite me appeared puzzled. I had added him due to work before, and he has never posted any pictures of dogs. If he had, I would definitely have liked them. Could it be that he shared his personal WeChat with me? Or perhaps his posts were set to a specific audience, or, more audaciously, only visible to me? I opened Fu Siyu's moments once more. He had only begun sharing pictures of dogs in the past week. Prior to that, his posts were solely about business. Did he only start posting after adding me? My heart fluttered with unrealistic fantasies. I trembled as I clicked like. Shortly after, a new message popped up on WeChat. Fu Siyu, are you free on Saturday? Initially, I intended to decline. I was worried that if I forced him to go for neutering, he might become stressed. After a brief silence on the other end, he spoke. I'll come pick you up. Bring Luca along. Accompanied by a low chuckle, he added, let him sacrifice his charm. I replied, great idea. The incessant barking echoed in my ears. Woof 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 woof. Luca, doesn't my innocence matter? When Saturday arrived, Fu Siyu drove to pick me up. The film emperor was dressed casually today, donning a loose gray sweatshirt paired with fitted trousers, embodying the image of a tall man. I was almost entranced. As soon as Luca appeared, the previously listless Milk Tea perked up. Seizing the opportunity, I secured its cage in the back seat and proactively took my place in the passenger seat. I couldn't possibly treat the film emperor as my chauffeur. Upon entering the car, I was struck by an uneasy feeling. A few adorable plush dog toys adorned the dashboard of the passenger seat. This was clearly feminine paraphernalia. Sitting on the soft passenger seat felt as uncomfortable as a bed of nails, a prickly sensation at my back. Although Fu Siyu had publicly claimed to be single for years, and even his dog referred to him as a bachelor, every trace before me indicated that this passenger seat was claimed. During the drive, Fu Siyu asked me several questions, to which my responses were somewhat perfunctory. Noticing my sudden aloofness, he fell silent for the latter half of the journey. Aside from the soft gurgle from the back seat, only the canine chatter that only I could hear filled the air. Luca, why are you two not talking? Weren't you prepared with several topics yesterday? Why go mute the moment you got in the car? Are you naturally taciturn? I was taken aback, staring through the rearview mirror at the anxious Luca. I nearly felt compelled to bark a few times in response. Was Fu Siyu truly single? Did he genuinely like me? But we had barely known each other before. The director of the pet hospital unexpectedly turned out to be a handsome young man, his features reminiscent of peach blossoms beneath his mask. Luca clearly knew him well, bounding towards him as soon as we disembarked. And who is this lovely lady? The handsome director inquired with a smile in his eyes. You? A friend. Fu Siyu coughed lightly. This is Gucci. You can ask him anything related to pets. As friend. Gucci's lips curled into a smile as he moved to embrace, but Luca jumped up and tugged at his white coat, pulling him back. All right. He raised his hands in surrender, but you two have come at a rather inconvenient time. I have a major surgery scheduled shortly. Everyone else is tied up, and we are short-staffed. How about you both give Luca a wash? I won't charge you. I was taken aback. Luca blinked his big eyes, obediently standing in the wash basin. After the Milk Tea was taken for surgery, I waited outside. Fu Siyu rolled up his sleeves, picked up the shower head, and began wetting Luca's fur with remarkable skill. Can you lend a hand? Worried that I might be more of a hindrance, I hesitated, but since the owner had asked, I felt no qualms. I've never washed a dog before. Is that all right? No problem. Luca barked excitedly, turning in a circle. Luca, even if I shed a layer of skin for the happiness of my mute master, I can manage it. I couldn't help but chuckle. What's so funny? Fu Siyu glanced up slightly. Nothing, just. I smiled at the bewildered mute master. A bubble landed on his bangs, the handiwork of Luca. I leaned over to brush the bubble away. When Luca suddenly splashed water everywhere, I slipped and nearly fell flat on my back. Strong arms steadied me from behind. I looked up to see Fu Siyu's apologetic expression and burst into laughter. The two of us, drenched, exchanged glances. Luca let out a proud bark. Luca, don't forget to reward me with a chicken leg, master.
Fu Siyu handed me a clean towel.
It seems he still needs to attend training school. Luca lay down in a pitiful manner, constantly rubbing his head against my palm. Luca, goddess, he is so ungrateful. Please speak on my behalf. He is actually quite clever. Then do you like him? Fu Siyu's gaze dropped as he continued rinsing Luca. I do. Then would you like to be his owner?
What?
What did I just hear? When I looked back at Fu Siyu, he had already lowered his gaze. Could it be that I had misheard? To be his owner. I desperately yearned to uncover his thoughts when Gucci emerged from the surgery room. After the procedure, keep him warm. You can only feed him water after 4 hours. The milk tea, adorned with a large Elizabethan collar, looked pitiful and listless. My heart ached as I gently consoled it. It glanced away, sulking. Cleaned up, Luca was lively, looking absolutely charming as he nudged the milk tea with his nose. But the latter appeared utterly disinterested. My heart raced as I sought any excuse to leave. As I departed, I was bombarded with Luca's chaotic inner monologue. Why is Sister Milk Tea ignoring me? Is she annoyed with me? He couldn't pick up on any of his owner signals. On the way back, Fu Siyu's voice rolled around in my mind like a wheel, leaving me in a state of turmoil. Was it merely a casual remark? Or was he deliberately dropping hints? At that moment, I was unaware that after I left the pet hospital, Gucci had already caught wind of the situation. Is this the one you've been searching for all this time? He stood with crossed arms, smugly declaring, So, what do you think? I intentionally sent the clinic staff away to create a moment for you two alone. With that, you can't possibly deny me a meal, can you?
Indeed.
Your timing was impeccable. Fu Siyu replied coldly, I'll treat you to some stir-fried chestnuts. Pamper You for a Lifetime continues to update, its popularity steadily rising. Fans have transitioned from the open and covert rivalry of the pets to the lives of their owners, with a plethora of memes circulating online. Aside from my silver tabby-esque lecherous antics gaining traction, audiences are most eager to witness the daily interactions between Fu Siyu and Luca. The production team arranged an episode to visit a celebrity's home, filming the daily lives of pets and their owners. Since the milk tea had just undergone surgery, it was scheduled for later.
Fu Siyu was set to go first.
That day, I had no engagements and lounged at home watching the live broadcast. When I saw Luca pulling out a large bag of items from some corner, my potato chips nearly fell from my hands. It was all merchandise customized for milk tea. Recently, I had ordered a batch of merchandise for milk tea, available for fans to claim for free based on their levels, including cards, cups, pillows, etc. Besides adorable photos of milk tea, there were also several cards of me holding milk tea, though only my hand was visible. On camera, Fu Siyu's home was filled with all the merchandise, even in multiples. The only plausible explanation sent chills down my spine. He must have purchased them separately. Not only I noticed, but the live chat also erupted. Did I see that correctly? Is that the merchandise of the plush cat? Luca is cool on the outside but warm on the inside, secretly hoarding so many adorable photos of milk tea. Wake up, folks. Luca can't surf the web or scan QR codes. The one buying these can only be. Perhaps it was SHRing who personally bestowed the silver chain upon the esteemed actor, FSY, compelling him to acknowledge it out of courtesy. Indeed, the enigmatic FSY, with his reserved demeanor, would never silently admire an internet-famous feline, join its fan club, and purchase a plethora of merchandise. To my astonishment, SHRing, the opportunist, managed to ride the wave of popularity even in another's live stream. As the broadcast continued, a glimmer of silver slipped from the table, and a chain fell to the ground amidst the commotion. Just as the host reached down to retrieve it, Luca suddenly sprang into action. The docile canine clamped its jaws around the chain, preventing the host from touching it. While soothing Luca, FSY took hold of the silver chain, saying, I apologize. I hold this chain quite dearly, and he assumed you were trying to take it. Would you mind showing it to the viewers on camera? The curiosity of the host and audience was piqued. The camera zoomed in on a delicate silver tag that shimmered with light. SR? The host read aloud the letters inscribed. It represents someone very important to me, FSY replied nonchalantly. Oh, the host chuckled, a knowing smile gracing his lips. This explanation cast an air of ambiguity over the live stream. Someone very important? Who? What have I missed? Let us not spread baseless rumors. Can't an important person be a family member or friend? I recognized it immediately. Despite the slight variations in material, The familiar letters and patterns on the tag were unmistakable. I was certain it was the same dog tag I had found backstage that day. SR. A bold thought surged through my mind. I lifted my bubble tea. Could it be that he truly has feelings for me? In response, the bubble tea merely let out a lethargic meow. Surely, my intuition couldn't be mistaken. Could it be that I had forgotten a previous encounter with the esteemed actor? Before I could ponder further, someone had already stepped forward to claim the spotlight. On May 20th, SGAGO posted a stunning bouquet of vibrant roses on Weibo, alongside a card that read, "To dear Rachel Sue." The caption, "An ordinary day becomes extraordinary because of you." Fans erupted in excitement in the comments. Is the little princess going official? Has she found love? Who is so lucky to earn GAGO's affection? Isn't SR obvious? Remember the trending topic from last week on that adorable pet variety show? FSY revealed an important person. If he's her brother-in-law, I can accept it. FSY's girlfriend, the very person, SR. The announcement on May 20th sent several trending topics soaring to the top. SGAGO responded to fans in the comments, "Please don't speculate. We are all just good friends." A classic case of not a single silver coin hidden here. FSY had not opened a personal Weibo account, leading many to flock to his studio's page, demanding to know if SGAGO was truly his sister-in-law. The studio maintained an aloof silence, offering no response. The rumors spun wilder, with the absence of denial interpreted as tacit approval. I initially believed it to be mere gossip. I knew SGAGO too well, given FSY Studio's notorious reluctance to clarify obvious rumors. It was not until I brought my bubble tea for follow-up appointment that I unexpectedly encountered the two principal parties in the parking lot. "Are you not taking care of the child?" SGAGO's voice was filled with an unbearable grievance as she attempted to tug at FSY's sleeve, only to be coldly shrugged off. "You insisted on handling it yourself. I warned against it, yet you chose to keep it. But now that it exists, I have no choice but to seek you out. You should not be looking for me. You ought to head upstairs to find a doctor. How can you be so irresponsible? What am I to you? I wouldn't mind taking care of one more mouth after it is born, but do not contact me again."
FSI.
SGAGO attempted to lunge at the man, but he deftly sidestepped, nearly causing her to stumble. The two parted ways, driving off in separate directions. I concealed myself in the shadows, pressing my hand over my mouth, my emotions tumultuously churning. What a scandalous revelation I had stumbled upon. The person I loathed most, and the one I believed harbored feelings for me, were entangled in this manner. I leaned against the wall, retching. It appeared even Luca had learned to lie. FSYSR was not me at all. After a month-long hiatus, the bubble tea finally returned to resume filming. FSY approached with Luca in tow, but I preemptively halted him. "There's no need for you to trouble yourself, Teacher F." I lowered my gaze, avoiding his probing eyes. Following its neutering, the bubble tea had ceased to be Luca's adoring pet, instead aligning with me in unwavering solidarity. Luca, feeling neglected, circled around the bubble tea with a forlorn demeanor. "What's wrong? Have you forgotten me already after such a brief absence? Did I do something wrong?" The tall border collie was as restless as a cat on a hot tin roof, while its owner stood tall, his brow furrowed. FSY, with his remarkable acuity, swiftly sensed my aloofness, but maintained a gentlemanly and amicable demeanor. "Shall we share a drink after this?" Before I could decline, he added, "I have something to discuss."
FSI.
A delightful female voice interrupted him. SGAGO approached, leading a Labrador, and unceremoniously squeezed past me. The director had mentioned that the new episode would feature surprise guests. They had indeed chosen wisely, selecting FSY's rumored girlfriend and my adversary. Memories of past grievances, where I had been silenced and subjected to online harassment for interfering with the little princess's affairs, flooded back. Had it not been for the contract I signed, I would have fled immediately. In stark contrast to my increasingly pallid complexion, the live stream's excitement surged, as the director had anticipated, reaching new heights with SGAGO's appearance. I never expected the mystery guest announced by the production team to be the little princess of the entertainment industry. Is she here to make an official announcement? GAGO must be here for FSY. They and their dogs are the perfect match. What else with the bubble tea and lemon tea? Such different species, and yet you can ship them. How hungry are you? Please refrain from shipping CPs so recklessly. I must clarify that I am not a fan of SHRing, but GAGO has a history of controversies from previous shows. How much does it cost to get in here? Let us make some money together. As the live stream commenced, the camera focused on Luca. As we all know, border collies are incredibly intelligent and possess a unique bond with their owners. The host skillfully guided the conversation, crouching down to ask Luca, "Is the person your master likes present today?" The question sent ripples of excitement through the crowd. Clearly, the production team was determined to seize the spotlight. Prior to the show, FSY had been pulled away for an urgent interview by another team, leaving only the dog behind. Even in the absence of its owner, the production team had myriad ways to generate buzz. The host continued, "Can Luca tell us who your master likes?" The audience eagerly anticipated the unfolding spectacle.
Luca.
Standing tall and proud, made a beeline for me.
Hey.
"I know this one. Remember to give me an extra treat tonight." The host felt the awkwardness. "Why don't you take another look?" After saying this, he tugged at Luca's leash, attempting to draw it away from me, but Luca promptly lay down at my feet. The audience exchanged glances. SGAGO could no longer remain seated. "It's my fault. I used to teach Luca not to scratch the sofa, and now he dislikes me." She cast a playful glance at me. "Sring, that's not fair. You've hidden Luca's favorite treats to lure him closer. At home? Education? Has GAGO been to teacher FS house?" The relationship is evident. I knew Luca wouldn't approach that opportunist SHRing.
Too many little tricks at play.
SGAGO pulled a treat from her bag, gently stroking Luca while offering it to him. "Come, have mine." Luca merely turned away, ignoring the gesture. Su Jiao's expression was taut, her lips stiff as she insisted on forcing a snack into Luca's mouth. I watched as Luca, caught between the admonitions of Fu Siyu, struggled in anguish, and I felt a twinge of sympathy. He isn't accustomed to this. As I raised my hand, Luca stood up, nudging my palm with his head. It was evident who he was more intimate and familiar with, requiring no further words. For those who just heard the dog barking, come out and see who is Luca closer to. I never expected the little princess of the entertainment industry to lose favor in the pet world. It seems she's a bit desperate now. At this rate, perhaps her claim of SR on Weibo is merely a means to ride the coattails of popularity. Fu. The film emperor has never liked her posts. Su Jiao's face turned a shade of iron, her voice laced with grievance and sorrow. "Sharon, I won't hold it against you for what you did to steal the dog before, but now you aim to steal its owner as well?" The room fell silent. Su Jiao's words were undoubtedly a bombshell. Fans and passers-by in the live stream erupted into chaos, forcing a halt. Calls from my manager and company executives flooded in. "You're competing with Su Jiao for a man?" My manager was succinct.
What are you talking about?
Suppressing the mind-reading aspect, I recounted the situation at that time, prompting Lee to sigh even more heavily. "It's over. You won't be able to clear your name even if you jumped into the Yellow River." I understood. Though reason was on my side, Su Jiao was the darling of the industry, merely dabbling in entertainment, able to manipulate public opinion with a mere nod. The tragic experience from a year ago was about to replay. After painstakingly building my fanbase and popularity through variety shows, it could all be undone overnight. The trending topics turned sour, accompanied by unflattering photos of me deliberately captured, past grievances with Su Jiao resurfacing on trending, even crafted into short videos maliciously circulated by various marketing accounts. The production team informed me that if public sentiment grew too intense, I might not be needed for future participation. I had begun drafting my job search resume when suddenly I received a call from my manager. "Sharon, quickly check Weibo." My negative trending topic had vanished. In its place was Fu Siyu's topic soaring high. Fu Siyu's first Weibo post, "Pet you for a lifetime," an apology from the production team. The only attention from the film emperor. There were still a few trending topics demanding an apology from Su Jiao, and in the blink of an eye, they disappeared. Indeed, money speaks volumes. Lee lamented from the other end. I hastily clicked on Fu Siyu's newly registered Weibo, where he had posted a simple clarification. He explained that Su Jiao had indeed known him through the pet, but it was solely limited to interactions among pets, with no further implications. At that time, Su Jiao, through a mutual friend, had implored Fu Siyu to allow Luca to mate. The friend was Luca's previous owner, and he couldn't refuse. As he was pressed for time with filming, he let Luca stay with her for a few days. When he finally had the chance to check on them, he discovered that Su Jiao's dog was too small to conceive. Luca had lost considerable weight in the unfamiliar environment, prompting Fu Siyu to bring him back. Unexpectedly, a week later, Su Jiao claimed her Labrador was pregnant and insisted Fu Siyu take responsibility. Fu Siyu's Weibo post contained only that clarification, leaving the subsequent details unspoken. I repeatedly clicked on the lengthy voice message he had sent me, my face flushing with warmth. He had intentionally explained this to me. Had he seen me in the parking lot that day? Gripping my phone, my emotions were in turmoil. The phone rang, and I answered with a trembling voice. Sure, Rome. Would you like to have dinner together tonight? His deep voice was no longer just a simple voice message. Once someone I could only admire from afar. He had personally come to pick me up from my old, shabby neighborhood. From a distance, I spotted a hand resting on the car window, slender fingers holding a cigarette. The knuckles distinct and pale, enough to conjure an image of its handsome owner. The car's glass reflected my bashful face. Fu Siyu wore a casual black shirt today. The collar casually open, his profile sharp, his eyes lost in the night shadows. As soon as I got into the car, he extinguished the cigarette. There's a new private kitchen nearby, recommended by Gucci. I lowered my head, unable to meet his gaze. Just as I was pondering how to break the awkwardness, a familiar commotion came from the back seat. Woof woof woof. Luca, you brought someone out. And it's just for a meal? Don't let me look down on you. I took a deep breath to conceal my emotions. Turning to pet Luca's head. Fu Siyu sighed. He insists on coming along. Luca, if I don't come, you, this dullard, might end up lonely for life. He.S. quite well behaved. That day on the show, Luca's differential treatment had certainly struck a blow to Su Jiao's pride. Well behaved, the traffic light flickered. The car halted at the intersection. Fu Siyu turned his head and chuckled lightly. Is it just him? My back straightened, pressing against the seat. Fine beads of sweat forming on my forehead. The milk tea is also quite well behaved. The sudden flirtation left me, a singleton for over 20 years, at a loss. Especially coming from someone like Fu Siyu. His hand lightly tapped the steering wheel, so is its owner. Just as we arrived at the private kitchen's parking lot, a pink supercar pulled up beside us, flashing its hazard lights frantically. Su Jiao jumped out of the car, her eyes red, glaring at me in the passenger seat, as if she wanted to break through the windshield and tear me apart. A gentle pat on the back of my hand came from the man in the driver's seat, signaling me not to be nervous. He would handle it. Once Fu Siyu stepped out of the car, Su Jiao attempted to rush over to grab his hand, but was deftly sidestepped. They spoke from a distance of about 10 feet, and Fu Siyu appeared somewhat impatient. Bored, I suddenly noticed an unusual glimmer in the corner. Su Jiao had brought paparazzi. If I got out of the car, it would only play right into the paparazzi's hands. If I didn't alert Fu Siyu, tomorrow's trending topics would be a sight to behold. Within half a minute, I devised a foolproof plan. Luca leaped out of the car, baring his teeth. Charging toward the two. Su Jiao was startled, forced to distance herself from Fu Siyu. The man grabbed the dog leash and glanced at me. I gave a subtle nod, and Fu Siyu understood immediately. To my surprise, he walked over to the passenger side, gesturing for me to get out. Luca, well done. If you had been this proactive earlier, I wouldn't have had to worry so much. I realized Fu Siyu intended to ride the wave, using the paparazzi's lens to shatter Su Jiao's hopes, naturally wrapping his arm around mine as we greeted her. You too. She took 2 steps back, suddenly realizing something, and immediately turned to make a phone call. Don't post it. I'll pay double. I couldn't help but stifle a laugh, caught by Fu Siyu in the act. With the paparazzi following, we had to retreat, and our dinner plans were dashed. Once we reached downstairs, Fu Siyu parked the car in a dim alley. The twilight glow seeped into the vehicle, the atmosphere thick with unspoken tension. I found it hard to breathe, and pushed against the car door. It wouldn't budge. After a day filled with emotions stirred by a certain someone, my heart raced, in a tumultuous state. Fu Siyu, I don't do ambiguity. I turn my back, avoiding his intense gaze. Neither do I. His voice behind me was unwavering. SR, is that what I think it means? I turned to meet his eyes directly. He reached out, retrieving a silver chain worn from his body, his fingertip tracing the grooves of the letters. The coolness of the silver chain transferred to me as he leaned in, his fingertips pinching the silver pendant, his warm lips kissing the letters tenderly. The heat of our breaths mingled between us. I found myself pressed against the cold glass, aflame with desire, my waist feeling weak. Ahem. A vibration pulsed through the back of my head. Someone, not knowing better, knocked on the car window. The cold wind swept into the car, dispersing the intimacy we had built. Fu Siyu's manager glared at us from outside, having no idea how long he had been standing there. It is said that since his debut, Fu Siyu has been under the guidance of his manager, known in the industry as the Smiling Tiger, Jason. Polite on the surface, he wields an iron grip behind the scenes. When Fu Siyu first rose to fame, He encountered a multitude of unsavory characters and situations, all deftly managed by Jason, who later resolved issues without the artist's knowledge. Jason called Fu Siyu aside and tapped on the car window, signaling for me to exit for a brief discussion. Fu Siyu firmly pressed against the car door, declaring, "I will speak with you." Jason, exasperated, sighed, all right, the child is grown and cannot be controlled anymore." As his hand reached for the door, Luca in the back seat immediately barked twice. "You ungrateful little rascal. Have you forgotten who took you for walks and fed you while your master was away filming?" "Luca, do not bully my master's master." I stood there, perplexed, as Jason, with no other option, advised that we maintain a low profile until the variety show concluded, as he had yet to gauge the depths of the Siyu family's influence. Fu Siyu personally stepped forward to clarify matters, asserting that Su Jiaojiao's PR team possessed the ability to spin black into white, claiming all misunderstandings were the result of a pet hospital's errors. A throng of fans, mingling with marketing accounts, began to rally around the narrative, expressing sympathy for Jiaojiao, who was supposedly victimized by a malevolent veterinary clinic. While Fu Siyu remained unconcerned, he ultimately acquiesced, considering the fragile state of my company and team. I stood there, my mind swirling with 1,000 questions. Wait, does he mean we should be discreet? Is this a confession of sorts? The final episode of Pampering You for a Lifetime was an outdoor live broadcast, set in the wetland park that had gained fame for its camping facilities. Fu Siyu was to arrive later with the ingredients, while Dehua, Jiangzhu Xian, and I were tasked with setting up the tent. Su Jiaojiao and Xiaohua Yanshui took their cats and dogs to entertain park visitors, aiming to secure a larger budget. It wasn't until nightfall that they finally appeared, with Yanshui drenched in sweat and Su Jiaojiao leisurely trailing behind. The little dog, Nai Cha, had gone missing. The filming crew scoured the footage, but could find no trace of Nai Cha. "What us the rush? If it has any sense, it will return on its own," Su Jiaojiao remarked, stretching her shoulders. "I've searched for so long. I'm exhausted." I approached, scrutinizing Su Jiaojiao's delicate face beneath her sun hat, and coldly inquired, "Are you saying Nai Cha ran off because it had to eat a stranger's snacks?" "Yes." Despite calling it back, it won tea return. "What can I do?" She responded with innocent blinking eyes. I glanced at the trembling little dog cowering at her feet and already had my answer. "Labrador." I obediently blocked the camera, yet my master still kicked me. I had no time to argue with Su Jiaojiao and insisted that the production team halt the live broadcast until we found Nai Cha. A wave of negative comments flooded the live stream, claiming Nai Cha had run away of its own accord, alleging that I routinely mistreated the pet, exploiting the young cat for social media fame. To capture aesthetically pleasing photos, I was accused of coercing Nai Cha, even dredging up a series of distressing cat photos post-neutering. How else could such an affectionate and endearing silver tabby cat, who would normally cling to its owner, find the opportunity to escape? This ludicrous narrative spread to various social media platforms within an afternoon, branding me as an animal abuser who exploited pets for publicity. By the time Fu Siyu found me, I was outside the wetland park distributing flyers, hoping kind souls would provide leads, promising generous rewards. "Sharon, stop searching." Fu Siyu pressed my hand down. Instinctively, I pushed him away, fearful of being captured on camera. The production crew had been busy until midnight and had since gone to rest. The cameras were off. But my mind was solely focused on Nai Cha, leaving me oblivious to my surroundings. As the night deepened and the rain began to fall, soaking me through, Fu Siyu spoke. "Nai Cha has been found." He removed his jacket and draped it over my shoulders. Upon receiving the news, Fu Siyu immediately contacted the park authorities for the closed-circuit footage from the area where Su Jiaojiao had been, personally reviewing it and ultimately discovering evidence of her deliberate abandonment of Nai Cha. She had placed the cat near a dry well and, when the cameras were not watching, had pushed it down. Nai Cha fell heavily into the dry well, but fortunately, debris cushioned the fall, resulting in a fractured hind leg, and it was promptly taken to Guqi's hospital for treatment. The entire internet erupted in outrage. No one could have anticipated that the seemingly pet-loving persona of the little princess concealed such a malicious heart. Su Jiaojiao came to confront me, the dark circles under her eyes betraying her exhaustion from the public's backlash. "As long as you agree to cooperate in clarifying that Nai Cha did not go missing and that everything was scripted by the production team, I promise you one major film each year for the next 3 years, along with an S-grade television drama." She maintained her haughty demeanor, reminiscent of a year prior. "It's just a creature. It's not dead yet. You should think about your own stardom. Miss this opportunity, and it may never come again."
Nirakat.
A dog, These were insignificant beings in Su Jiaojiao's eyes. Yet to me, Nai Cha was a beloved pet, a friend, and a family member who had stood by me through my lowest moments. They suffered in silence, unable to voice their pain or escape. Release it and I might consider, I replied, referring to the shivering Labrador. Years of mistreatment had stripped it of the courage to flee from Su Jiaojiao. Just this? That sick dog meant to mate with Fu Siyu? If you want it, take it. It's not fit for anything, not even as a punching bag. You agreed? Stop rambling. I've sent the Weibo caption to your WeChat. No need to send it. I pulled my phone from my bag. We're live. No matter how powerful the Su family may be, they could not silence the voices across the internet. Su Jiaojiao's name became utterly tarnished. Many even called for her to undergo psychological evaluation, as those who abuse animals are often potential threats. The production team of Pampering You for a Lifetime publicly apologized for their negligence during the recording process, disassociating themselves from Su Jiaojiao while firmly declaring that no animal abuse had occurred during filming. I encountered Fu Siyu at Guqi's hospital, where Su Jiaojiao's rescued Labrador had been taken. I saw him squatting outside the cage, holding a typical dog treat that dogs adore, his expression troubled. "It want to eat the treat," I said as I reached out to comfort the Labrador, making a few allowed-to-eat gestures. Slowly it approached, sniffing cautiously before tentatively taking a small bite. "You still understand them so well," Fu Siyu remarked softly. "Only because they allow me to," I replied. "I wish to understand them better," he said, rising to his feet. "Shall we have dinner together next?" Given that I owed Fu Siyu a meal for his part in finding Nai Cha, it seemed reasonable. Who could have anticipated that his invitation to dinner meant going back to his home? Staring at the dark wooden door, I was taken aback. As the door swung open, a golden-brown figure leaped out. A large, well-behaved golden retriever eagerly approached Fu Siyu, circling him. It was a guide dog, one I recognized. Memories flooded back to a bustling subway station months prior, where a filthy golden retriever had been tangled with passers-by, barking desperately. Its long fur was matted with rain and mud, and no one dared to approach. Its urgent cries echoed in my ears. "I am a guide dog. My master has fallen. Please come with me to check on her." I picked up its leash and followed it to a small alley not far from the subway station, where I found an injured blind woman. I helped her up and hailed a taxi to take her to the hospital for an examination. When I asked for her family information, she nervously clutched my arm. "I secretly came to the city to see my son. He's busy with work. I just wanted to follow Wang Kai to his home to make him some soup." I didn't expect. The guide dog, having lived in the countryside for so long, had become lost in the city. I instructed the aunt to disclose the address, only departing after ensuring the individual was safely delivered to their destination. Just then, a gentle and amiable woman appeared behind me, inquiring, "Ce, who has arrived?" It turned out that the blind aunt from that day was Fu Si's mother. Despite having numerous acclaimed works displayed on grand screens, she could not witness her son's films with her own eyes. With her diligent hands, she supported Fu Si's education, enabling him to rise from the mountains and be discovered by a talent scout while attending university in the bustling city. Proud of her son, she listened to his movies repeatedly, unable to see them herself. To avoid burdening him, she stubbornly resided in the countryside with her guide dog, Wang Kai. It was only after an unfortunate incident in the city that Fu Si insisted on bringing his mother to live with him. Wang Kai waited for a long time that day, and you were the only one willing to accompany him. Fu Si gazed at me tenderly. "Later, I found you through a friend, hoping to offer you some assistance, which you declined." So that was how I suddenly received several variety show offers from my agent during that period. I had thought that Su Jiaojiao was merely trying to play a prank on me. Hee, I shyly rubbed my head. "Why don't you give it another try?" Upon learning that I was the girl from that day, Fu Si's mother was visibly moved, her eyes glistening with tears. At the dinner table, she persistently served me dishes, oblivious to the fact that my bowl was nearing overflow. Rather than intervening, Fu Si chuckled quietly beside me, urging me to eat more. "This lad is just a tight-lipped one. Rong, don't take him to heart. Teacher Fu has helped me tremendously. Don't defend him. He can't compare to my Luca and Wang Kai's charm." "That is true," I replied, suppressing a smile. Before I left, the aunt gifted me a collection of felt dolls. In the past, she crafted these trinkets in the countryside to supplement her income, and now, living in the city, her son forbade her from working, transforming her craft into a source of joy. So that was the origin of the felt figurines in Fu Si's car. After dinner, Fu Si insisted on escorting me home, claiming it was on his way to take Luca for a stroll. The night breeze was gentle, and a faint aroma of greenery wafted around us. The clusters of flowers drooped on either side of the path, swaying gently in the wind. Our conversation flowed easily, neither of us daring to address how far we had come. Luca, hey, if you keep walking, you'll end up at her doorstep. My ears flushed crimson upon hearing this. Let's stop here. My home is just ahead.
All right, Fu Siyu replied calmly.
Just as I took a step, Luca, like a wild horse, circled around Fu Siyu and me multiple times, tangling us together with his long leash. The sudden closeness allowed me to catch a whiff of his refreshing scent. I dared not meet Fu Siyu's gaze. How about coming in for a cup of tea? Once home, Luca, as if fulfilling a mission, dashed to the balcony with a curious bubble tea in his mouth. Fu Siyu surveyed the surroundings. You truly have never owned a dog before? There were no dog-related items in the house. My hand trembled slightly as I poured the tea. Yes. Then how? I knew he, like everyone else, was curious about the connection between me and the dog. But I could not reveal it. If word got out, such an extraordinary circumstance could lead to me being treated as a laboratory specimen or a case study of some bizarre illness. Since childhood, my mother had warned me never to expose my abilities to the outside world. If I did not wish to be seen as a monster, I had to live as an ordinary person, taking this secret to my grave. Unless absolutely necessary, I must never utilize this ability. I did not want to deceive Fu Siyu, yet I could not speak the truth. He appeared somewhat dejected, but restrained his inquiries. My agent began to gossip about my relationship with Fu Siyu. Currently, his Weibo followed only me, aside from his own studio. Fans rushed to explain that due to Luca's good rapport with Bubble Tea, Rome must have requested Fu Siyu to follow her back. I had thought my casual suggestion for Fu Siyu to give it another try was just a passing remark, only to find out 2 days later that sisterly informed me of a promising opportunity that had come my way. A fantasy film being shot in Songling had a female supporting role that was bitten by a venomous serpent in the deep mountains, making her unable to continue filming. I was recommended as a substitute. It was clear who the recommender was. After reviewing the script and character description, I realized it was a golden opportunity. A good performance could easily make me break out. Having experienced the low of not having enough to eat, I was determined to strive for success. Upon arriving on set, I learned that Fu Siyu's film about the coexistence of beasts and humans was also being filmed in Songling. I took advantage of my free days to visit the set and express my gratitude to teacher Fu. As soon as I arrived on set, I noticed the tense expressions on everyone's faces. After some inquiries, I discovered that Fu Siyu had encountered an accident. He had been bitten by a venomous snake while filming in the mountains that morning. Although he was hastily transported to a hospital at the foot of the mountain, his life was still in peril. Due to the unknown type of snake, they could not prepare the appropriate antivenom. Is there anyone who saw what the snake looked like? Even a vague description could help find a local to inquire. There is none. That's the problem. It wasn't even an official shoot. He was quietly rehearsing in a corner when he was suddenly bitten. If we need a witness, the crew member pointed to a local dog lying nearby. It's that one. Taking a deep breath, I approached the little dog. I offered it a bit of food, attempting to gather information about the incident. The dog barked, providing me with details about the snake's appearance and color. I quickly searched for the closest matches and confirmed with locals which types were most common in that area and season. After identifying the most likely candidate, I relayed the information to Fu Siyu's agent. Fortunately, we had identified the correct snake, and the antivenom was administered in time. At the hospital, Luca lay forlornly by the bedside, refusing to eat or drink. I comforted him. Your master will be fine. Don't worry, Luca. He cannot be in trouble. He has so much left to tell you personally. Seeing Fu Siyu's pale face, my heart ached. Yes, I know. I gently rubbed Luca's head. Luca, it may sound unbelievable, but I can understand the voices of dogs. I believe you. Turning around, I found Fu Siyu gazing at me intently, his eyes full of tenderness and longing. Due to my communication with the local dog to rescue Fu Siyu, I made it to trending topics. Initially, I feared that my ability to read minds would be exposed, but the sudden rise of the new profession pet communicator spared me much explanation. A year ago, I had been wrongfully accused of stopping Su Jiao from forcing a spine-injured dog to perform, and now that case was vindicated. Su Hiao, who had already faced social death in the entertainment industry, was once again dragged into the spotlight for public scrutiny. Meanwhile, the only one who truly knew my secret was lying right behind me. You should step out. I shifted my shoulders. With you like this, I cannot continue cooking. Fu Siyu, like a large dog, rested his chin on my shoulder. His dark hair brushed against my sensitive skin. making it difficult for me to crack the eggs in my hands. Do you know what I'm thinking right now? His voice was low and husky, solid arms encircling my waist. My mind-reading ability hasn't yet transcended species. It had only been a month since we last met, yet Fu Siyu appeared so aggrieved. I found it hard to push away this big dog. Fu Siyu and I were engaged in a clandestine romance, a choice I had made. I wished to wait until the day I stood at a height where I could meet his gaze before going public, perhaps receiving more blessings. Although Fu Siyu did not mind, I was still under pressure from both him and Jason. Luca had become our matchmaker. However, every week, Luca was forced to visit Gucci's veterinary hospital for his checkup. In the end, even Gucci could no longer endure it. As a pet doctor, must I be inundated with dog food while at work? Each day apart felt like an eternity. Ever since we became a couple, Fu Si had transformed into an unusually clingy companion. The once aloof teacher Fu, who resided high on a pedestal, would, upon closing the door, metamorphose into my exclusive dog. In moments of passion, he would remove the silver chain he gifted me and drape it around his bare neck. The exquisite silver tag rose and fell in rhythm with his heavy breaths. The atmosphere was stifling, and I wearily lifted my eyelids. Before me lay his splendid physique, glistening with fine beads of sweat, the letters SR on the dog tag nearly melting away. Scalding droplets cascaded down his collarbone, tracing the dampness at the corners of my eyes. His rough fingertips gently wiped away my physiological tears. The dog tag slipped and brushed against my skin. Cold, I whimpered. The man above me chuckled softly, lowering his head to grasp the dog tag with his teeth, his crimson tongue pressing against the letters. My mind felt as though it had short-circuited. Suddenly, a tender voice resonated. I love her and am willing to become her most loyal dog. His delicate lips still held the tag, yet those profound words pierced through my consciousness, invading my very being. In that moment, I could only attune myself to the heart of my canine companion. I suddenly heard Fu Si's innermost thoughts. The end of the narrative. Thank you for listening. And until we meet again in the next tale.